This is a continuation of reading response number 7. Underrepresented. Ooh, let me pull up the whole title. Underrepresented: The Lack of Black Designers, featured in Harper's Bazaar and Vogue by Tamika N. Ellington. I was on question number 3, and I was just wrapping up, so that worked out. I received a phone call in the middle of me recording, so excuse me for that. So moving on to question number 4. On the Racism Untaught website, research tab, a mission statement is provided. 5 areas are given to help break down the teaching. What are your thoughts on these 5 areas? Can you apply them to your setting? So, hopping back over to the website, the 5 areas. I'm just gonna read the the 5 domains here. So, the period of discovery could include, but will not be limited to, personas. Okay, skip all that. Our plan is to break down project development using these 5 areas. 1, context, elements of racism. 2, define, methods and theories to define the problems. 3, ideate, artifact, system, or experience. 4, prototype, low, mid, and high fidelity design. And finally, 5, test, learning objectives, and conceptual understanding. So, this, if I'm understanding it correctly, this would be how you would move through kind of essentially helping students or learners, rather, because I'm sure this will be for educators as well, but helping learners to understand, get a base understanding of systematic racism, and then come up with solutions. So after gaining that base understanding, um, and that recognition that some may be lacking, then to go in, and work together to figure out solutions and ways to make actual change. I think this is a beautiful concept. I'm I would be very interested in taking part in some of these courses. I am. Dr. Brown, is this you? Uh, I feel like I have been taking these courses a little bit with Dr. Brown, or at least our course has kind of been utilizing this outline here. Um, I absolutely feel like this can be used in K-12 classrooms. And I say K-12 because honestly, all the way from the kindergarten level up to seniors getting ready to graduate. I would be excited to see, especially with elementary age children, how this mapping can be used to teach anti-racist lessons, and develop anti-racist lesson plans. It kind of makes me, when I'm thinking about elementary students, it makes me think about the the educator, and I cannot think of her name right now, but the one who did the the blue eye test with her students, or the blue eye experiment with her students. um, I feel like that is a good kind of prototype kind of lesson, or you obviously, I'm not saying that's the only way, but with that age group, and then taking it a step further and talking with those babies about, okay, well, what can we do to, combat this? How can we make sure all of our friends, feel safe and don't feel left out, so on and so forth. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out in K-12 classrooms, and to try some of this myself, because in my own classroom, um, and I'm speaking from an ELA point of view because that's where most of my experience is. I only taught art for 1 year so far, and that year was the same year that COVID hit. So essentially, I only got 8 months of teaching art, if that. So um, I really didn't explore any anti-racist art lessons that school year, but with my English courses, I definitely did, but it wasn't it wasn't concrete as far as like going into the idea part and kind of trying to brainstorm solutions and ways to fight white supremacy and racism. That was more of, light discussion, and very, very light. Um, and we definitely didn't come up with concrete solutions where they explored and they tested their hypotheses or anything like that. So I look forward to kind of getting past the brainstorming part for solutions, and the discussion part, because I've done the context and the define, um, but kind of moving that towards actually being more solution based instead of just giving my students this information. And then, of course, with this new information that I have, taking these courses and just, living life over time, getting new experiences myself, going back in and honing how I give students context and how we define um, these methods and theories. So I'm excited, and I enjoyed this reading, and I thank you all very much. See you in class.